few weeks ago, Reverend Ellen gave a sermon on resilience. She spoke about her grandmother's experiences in Poland during World War II. And for those of you who weren't here for that, I urge you to go watch it. It's up on the website and on YouTube. It was the October 20th sermon. But Ellen's message in that sermon was that what got her grandmother through the terrible events of the war was her resilience. Living under wartime occupation, she had no control over the larger events going on around her. But she did have control over some things, over the events in her everyday life. For these, she grounded herself in what was most important to her and used that to guide her actions, whether it was with her family, her community, or even the soldiers that were quartered in her home. Staying true to her values gave her the resilience she needed to get herself and her family through the war. This past week has been a difficult one for most of us, probably all of us. The election may be over, but the political situation is as charged as ever, and as a country, we are as divided as ever. We're going to need to be resilient to get through the next few years. So this morning, we're going to think about what it is that we need to become resilient. What grounds us? What are the values that mean the most to us? And what do we want to hold on to in these hard times? Well, as UUs, we actually have a set of principles as a part of our faith that's designed just for this. And conveniently, we've just rewritten both our principles/values and our sources/inspirations to be more modern, to fit these times. So what better time than today to take a deeper look at these documents? Our new inspirations remind us that we draw upon and are inspired by sacred, secular, and scientific understandings that help us make meaning and live into our values, and that these sources ground us and sustain us in ordinary, difficult, and joyous times. Our new values are one of those sources, so let's take a look at them today and see how we can use them to sustain us through these current times. So today, we are all together going to explore the new values and inspirations, first individually, and then in small groups in the pews, or in the chat if you're online. You have the text of the new stuff in your order of worship. If you want to look at the principles and the sources, they're in the gray hymnal, in the front of the gray hymnal. Sorry, I have to turn the page. I'm still old school. I don't use my iPad. We're going to give you some time to read through what's in your order of worship. And give you a chance to see if one of those values sort of speaks to you, or maybe if there's a principle that you've used to guide your life. Take a look through the new values and see if you can find it. What was that? Oh. Pretty much everything that was in the principles is in the values, but they've sort of mixed them all up. So you can look for them, and they've reformulated them. So if you find your principle, is it the same or has it changed? Or maybe you want to look at the inspirations and see how they're different from the sources, and see how they might change how you look at your sources of information. We're going to have Carla and Diana demonstrate this. So we're going to give them a chance to show what we're imagining.
Okay. Sure. So, like many of you, I'm guessing, my spouse and I get lots of solicitations for worthy causes. Usually I would toss the ones that arrive by snail mail into my in-basket, and they'd sit there unopened, making me feel guilty. One day I pulled them all out and set up a file labeled generosity to hold them until a future date when Paul and I could examine them together to decide to how many and what extent we could afford to give our support. Just labeling that file as generosity opened our giving up to a sense of abundance. We have resources to share in however large or small amounts. One of our new stated values is generosity, and the first line reads, "We cultivate a spirit of gratitude and hope." To me, this is an echo of two principles we constantly hold up at First Parish: gratitude and hospitality. As we enter this changed political landscape, I have promised myself to keep all of these in my toolbox: generosity, hope, gratitude, and hospitality.
Okay, here's my example. I am happy that the UU principle that I've always most centered on was carried forward and strengthened in our new UU values. The first UU principle, which asserts, quote, "the inherent worth and dignity of every person," is restated and strengthened in the value now named equity, where the description says, "We declare that every person is inherently worthy and has the right to flourish with dignity, love, and compassion." That every person is inherently worthy was foundational to how I raised my children. It is why I left my career in high tech to become a math teacher, not at an academic high school, but at a vocational high school. It is why I spend so much time trying to help refugees who are fleeing violence or repression in their countries and just want a chance to be safe and productive here in the United States. It is why I am afraid for so many in this country whose worthiness and safety might be disregarded in this new administration. My daughter sent this to me 2 days after the election. It helped her, and it helped me, and may it help you as well. It says, "At the end of the day, I am grateful that my heart can't comprehend their beliefs. I am grateful for my compassion. I am grateful for my heart. I am even grateful for the anger that I feel because it is proof that I am full of love, empathy, and passion. I am grateful to not understand them."
All right. You said? Okay, well, we're confused. Okay, so what we're going to do now, we're not that confused, is we're going to ask you each to read through the values now and think by yourself, which one speaks to you. We're going to give you some time to do that, and then we're going to ring the bell up there and have you talk to your neighbors. Yeah, we're getting a few minutes. We'll wait and see till when you get restless, because we're not sure. We don't want to make it too long. We're not Ellen. We don't know. So we'll say 5 minutes, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, as you've already guessed, feel free to talk amongst yourselves. I would say
So there was a lot of discussion. That's great. We hope you'll continue these discussions downstairs. We had hoped to have time to have you all come up and say a little word about what it meant to you, which value you most related to and stuff, but we don't want to keep you here till noon. So we're going to be handing out, see in the window over there, there's a little window cling there with the flower, like two panes above the white roses in the middle, right there, and it'll catch the light if you go to different angles. So we want to have you each take a window cling on your way out the door today. We'll put them over by the door. Oh, they're right here. And just to remind you of our new values, okay? So you're all welcome to take one of those.